안녕하세요. Limpeh Singapore 남자입니다. Yeah. Today I have with me for lunch what is called Seoul Long Tang. Now, as I mentioned in my is Korean food healthy video, the Seoul Long Tang is one of those very healthy Korean food. So here's a closer look at Seoul Long Tang. It's basically rice in this beef stew. So this is beef, and you see inside is rice. So it's a little bit basically like Japanese ramen, but with rice. So basically what Seoul means ox bone, tang means soup. So it's actually ox bone soup. 진짜 맛있겠다. 잘 먹겠습니다. Okay, now to eat Seoul Long Tang, it's best to eat with pepper and salt. So they always have this. I like my Seoul Long Tang with a lot of pepper, by the way, and a little bit of salt, just a little bit, and then you mix it up. Oh, is this Seoul Long Tang comes with vermicelli as well. Yes, some Seoul Long Tang rather than just having rice, there is rice. Okay, they put some vermicelli as well, just to make it more tasty and more interesting. Let's see how it tastes. First, the soup. The soup is bland. If you don't add the salt and the pepper, it's got no taste at all. But it's just the fragrance of the beef coming out. That's why in that video we mentioned that like Seoul Long Tang and Kom Tang are very healthy traditional Korean food. They are healthy Korean food because they don't add anything bad into the soup. It's just pure beef stew. It is. And because it's kind of, the taste is very bland. You have a piece of, usually have a piece of, it's called mu kimchi. Mu kimchi meaning kimchi made out of melon, Korean melon. 오늘 주제는요, 북한 미쌀. 보통 사람들이 어떻게 생각하는지 한번 소개하도록 하겠습니다. So today's my topic is about the Korean missile threat and what the sentiment on the ground is like. At least in my own experience, I'm going to share you my own experience, what I see in my everyday life with my friends, what it's like in real, at least in my circle and in my life here in Seoul. So a lot of people, especially Westerners, will be thinking, you know, with a crazy ass guy shooting nuclear missiles and as far as all the way to the other side of Japan, we should be all freaking out right now, right? You know what? Surprise, surprise. No, none of that feeling at all. No. You will see over the past 2 years that I've been here, Kim Jong-un, the North Korean guy, has done all kind of crazy ass shit. And I've always been out with my Korean friends drinking and stuff, right? Well, you would expect that with a threat this imminent, right? If it's that dangerous, at least during drinking session, everybody's gonna want to talk about it, right? You know, like after a few drinks, like, wow, shit, you know, what if the missile hit us? What are we gonna do? You know, there should be panic talk. But you know what? I have been to countless drinking sessions with Koreans, and I've been knocked out all the way. We really enjoy ourselves, and you know what? None of this talk came out at all. Nobody's concerned about that at all. Not at all. I was actually very surprised. So I actually asked my Korean friend, like, you know, aren't you concerned about the Korean missile threat? You know what my Korean friends told me? They've been doing it for the past 70 years. Nothing's gonna happen. Don't worry. So there is actually a very strong level of complacency right now in the society with regards to the North Korean missile threat. Even though as a foreigner, I'm a foreigner, I watched this North Korean missile threat kind of like develop over the years. And I would say that right now, what Kim Jong-un has and what he's doing is different from what his father and his forefathers had done. To me, it's a different level of threat. To me, this is clear and imminent threat. But to Koreans, they don't think that way at all. I also. But ginger muscata. This is actually very delicious. You see how piping hot this is, and this is this is autumn, and daytime temperatures is slightly less than 20 degrees. And if you eat something like this, it feels so good. Feels so warm. But so this traditional food is kind of like Koreans' favorite food when it comes to colder weathers. Okay. Now, as I said, even though the young Koreans displayed to me at extremely high level of complacency, the old folks are not. Actually, I do chit chat with old folks a lot because I don't work, and so whenever I go around my neighborhood, I only meet with old folks, right? And I actually chit chat with them. And you know what? A lot of old folks are very worried, actually, about the North Korean missile threat. Yeah, if you watch every other YouTube channel, they only interview the young people. So I'm telling you, the young people can't be bothered. In fact, if you ask the young people what they're worried about more, they are worried about not finding a job more. They are worried about how to get married. They are worried about how to buy that car to qualify for them for the marriage. That's what they're worried about right now. How to find a job, how to score good grades, all that mundane things. But if you talk with the older folks, you get a very different feeling. The older folks are very worried. And a lot of the older folks are even talking about what happens if it happens and how they're gonna move out of Korea and stuff like that. They actually talk about things like that amongst the older folks. Because the older folks, at least when I ask the older folks about this, right, they say the reason is this. The older folks, they were the post-war generation, and some of them actually went through the Korean War in when they were very, very young. More than 70 years ago. I'm talking about those folks about in their 90s, 80 plus 90s. And you know what? They tell me that the horrors of that war is still in their head, and they know what North Korea is capable of if they're willing to do it. And to the older folks in Korea, North Korea has not been more willing to do it than it has been today. So actually, the older folks see a very different picture. While the younger folks did not go through the war or the post-war Korea, so they do not have a good appreciation of the real dangers of North Korea. See the difference here? So I guess the sentiment on the ground right now is now largely generally, if you walk around on the streets or you hang out with friends, you're not gonna feel any threat. There's no threat at all. K-pop goes on, the dancing goes on, the singing goes on, life goes on, and you would expect. In fact, when I'm amongst my Korean friends, even on the day which North Korea fires their missiles, some of them don't even know about it. They don't even care. They don't even watch the news. They don't even know North Korea fired a missile to the other side of Japan. Many of them, you'll be surprised, many of them don't know at all. And many of them don't even watch the news, okay? Because too busy to watch the news. They just sleep as much as they can, rush to school or rush to work, and with no time in between to do much of anything. But of course, generally people know, but you know what? They don't care. So if you come to Korea, you'll find that, it's a very happy place. The singing goes on, the shopping goes on, everything is nice and rosy here. Everything is nice and rosy. So I would say this: as a tourist, there's nothing to worry about because, frankly, if Kim Jong-un wants to start something like this, he needs more than just prototype missiles. Okay, this is just testing phase. After testing phase, you have to go into manufacture production. There's a long way to go before you have an arsenal capable of doing that. Now he has only one or two or just a few prototypes. It's not enough to start a war. So I would say if you're a tourist, this is 2017. If you're coming within the next 3 to 5 years, I would say you're very safe. That's my own opinion, by the way. Okay, unless it's crazy enough to fire one prototype and kill some people here and then get themselves into trouble. I don't know. Maybe he's stupid enough to do that. I'm not sure. So that's why I would say as tourists it's fine to come. As student it's fine to come. If you come here for your degree course for 2 or 3 years, it's perfectly fine. This is a beautiful country. It's still gonna be a beautiful country, right? But you won't feel threatened in any ways in amongst your friends in society. Nobody talks about it at all. Nobody cares about it at all. Right? Yep, that's so much about the North Korea missile threat and my own experience and feel. At least in my own circle and it's just my own feeling, okay? So yeah, take reference from my experiences and also watch other YouTube videos and take reference from other people's experiences as well and see, come out with your own conclusions about this situation and what you feel about it, right? So yeah, as for me, I only think like, first of all, the possibility of anything happening within the next 3 to 5 years is minimal, right? So it's Limpeh in Seoul, speaking to you guys again. Annyeong. Oh, check out this beef, man. Whoa, this is one whole slab of beef. Good.